Welcome to Part of the Arts with me, Rebecca Godden. On this episode, we have the lovely Emma Bostock. Emma is originally from Middlesbrough and trained at the University of Cumbria, graduating in musical theatre and dance performance. She has undertaken many roles within theatre, and whilst playing the role of Princess Fiona at Shrek's Adventure, London, she met her now husband, Bobby, who was then playing the role of Shrek. How amazing is that? Emma is also a member of the West End Gospel Choir and has performed for the King Charles himself. When Emma is not performing, she teaches private singing lessons and is the Vice Principal and Comedy and Drama Teacher at the Pauline Quirke Academy in Richmond. Emma is currently on maternity leave after giving birth to her beautiful son Harry in August this year. Please enjoy as we catch up together on Part of the Arts. Hi Emma.
Hello.
Welcome to Part of the Arts.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on, and
You're welcome.
I'm so lucky that we're here in your beautiful home
We are
to
here.
do this one.
Yes.
So me and Emma are friends
Yes.
through work. We met in the
Yes.
industry, and this is like a huge moment for me because I'm seeing your new house,
Yes.
your new cat,
Yes.
and your new baby.
Yes.
So it's like, and getting to record a podcast about the amazing work you do.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
it's like, yeah, I'm super happy to be here.
I'm
So,
glad you're here too.
yeah, thank you for having me in your humble abode.
Anytime.
So I've asked you to think about something to
Mhm.
start us off today.
Mm-hmm.
In the industry, we are often oversharers, saying the
Yes.
first thing that comes into our mind. Not always in work, just in life.
Mm-hmm.
If our voice doesn't say it, our face normally does.
Yeah.
That's my problem. So have you got something, either you've said recently or just something that sticks with you that you were like, nah, that should have stayed in my head. I should not have said that.
This is a bit of a tricky one, really. But it was probably something about vaginas.
Love
Because
that.
having recently given birth
Yeah.
in August, well, it's not just me, to be fair. Me and the mums that I met through antenatal classes were all quite open
Yeah.
and very supportive of each other's journeys through pregnancy and now being new mums. And we do quite openly talk about vaginas.
In like coffee shops and stuff.
Yes. You know, people can overhear things. They probably think, oh my God, move away from these women. But yeah, it was probably something to do with vaginas, in all honesty.
I mean, yeah, we've all got one. Well, not all of us, but
No, some of us have them.
some of us
you know,
have
so-
them. We have them. And I guess when, you have given birth
Yes.
and used your vagina in that
It
way,
was a C-section, so technically not
not the vaginal way.
the vaginal way. No.
Can't believe I started the podcast
There
today
we
by
go.
saying the
Did
word
you ever think it'd happen?
vaginal. I feel like that's my one. That's something that I wish stayed in my head.
There we go. Ice broken.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. Ice broken. I shouldn't have said that. So moving on, what's the last thing you saw that sparked kind of, I don't know, emotion in you, sparked joy, something that you just really enjoyed? So this can be, or something, or art that you experienced, so not necessarily saw. So I know you and your husband go to the theatre a lot.
Yeah, not
Not
right
so
now,
much
though.
right now with new baby, but I know you've seen a lot.
Yes.
But it can also be a TV programme, a podcast, it can be a book you've read. Like, is there any art you've engaged with recently where you're like, that's it?
Again, that's quite tricky. I watch a lot,
Mhm.
like especially series on TV. I read a lot. I do a lot of all of that.
Yeah, you read lots. I always get, you got
yeah.
your books for me today, by the way. She always gives
Oh,
me
yes, we'll have a
books.
look after.
Yeah, a little book swap.
Can I slightly tweak what you've asked me and be a bit naughty and tell you
Only
the
'cause it's
thing
you.
that I've thank you. The thing that I've seen that like moved me and inspired me the most ever.
Yes.
Okay.
Not many people know what that is. So
I
I
have
love
a
that you've got that. So yes, please.
pinnacle moment, because I think picking something recent's really, really hard for me.
You've not like reflected,
No,
decompressed. Yeah.
But the thing that has most inspired me and moved me, and it's up there in one of the best things I've ever experienced in my life,
Wow.
was watching The Colour Purple on Broadway and witnessing the goddess that is Cynthia Erivo
Oh,
sing I'm Here.
you just given me goosebumps talking about that.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine that moment.
I've never in my life sat in the theatre and felt the way that I felt when I watched her perform that song.
That's amazing.
You could, you know, when people say you could literally hear a pin drop?
Yeah.
Genuinely, you could have. I felt like the entire theatre was holding their breath.
And was with her.
Was, 100% there. And we were all sobbing at the end, and it was just unbelievable. One of, hands down, well, it was my best theatre moment to watch as a spectator ever.
And honestly, I've actually got goosebumps because I've seen The Colour Purple, not on Broadway, not with her, not with the Wonder. But when I saw it, it was it's such an incredible show. It's
The show's
so
amazing.
moving. The book,
The music
I read the book.
as well.
The book had me
Yes.
in tears.
The
you know,
film.
oh my gosh, yes. I actually delivered workshops for The Colour Purple. Within where I'm based down south, and I went to Birmingham to kind of be trained on running workshops for it, and we, as part of that, we got to see the show, but we did the kind of training first, and we saw the show afterwards, and we were all together, like this eclectic bunch of people from across the country, all with different backgrounds, but working within the arts and wanting to deliver the kind of the sensitive topics that are mentioned in the show, and they're explored heavily. And I was a bit apprehensive with the stage show as to how they were going to portray some of it. I was like, it's one of those things where I thought some of them are either going to be really good or really bad, and it will make you feel icky because it's the
one wants to
the themes, you know, that there's sexual assault,
Yes.
there's race, there's gender, there's identity, like
there's so much in that show.
so much that I was a bit, scared to also deliver on all of these huge topics. Some that I have experience of, but some that I don't. So it's like, oh gosh, how can I do that? But being in that room with people, we all felt the same. Everyone had a connection or a story or an emotional connection to some of the themes, and together we kind of covered it all. And then sitting next to each other, then getting to watch it after really delving into the story. It was. Yeah, you've reminded me. You've reminded me of a moment that I was like,
I've unlocked a memory.
You have. It's that show.
Yeah,
there you go.
That show is just something else.
If you've not seen it, go and see it next time it's on tour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it will come back. That was only like a year or so ago it was on tour, so it will come back on tour.
And we saw it because I went with my husband. We saw it in, I want to say 2016.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so it was a long time ago, but incredible.
I feel like I want to watch the film again now. I've got to be emotionally prepared for it though.
Yes.
Talking of Broadway, the West End, the theatre, that's kind of your life, your bag.
Yeah, trained in musical theatre.
Yeah. How would you kind of describe what you do? And actually, more importantly, how would your nearest and dearest describe what you do?
Okay, so for me to describe what I do, so it's always that thing, isn't it? You know, when you meet new people and they say to you, what do you do? And you know exactly what I'm going to say here because you're giving me that facial expression. You know that what I'm going to say.
I know, yeah.
And when you say you're an actor, people instantly go, oh, what have you been in? Will we have seen you in anything?
Yeah.
And then you have that moment where, well, for me, and I'm sure there are loads of other people who feel like this, where your soul slips away slightly because they're expecting you to be like, oh yeah, well actually I'm a regular on EastEnders, or for you to be like, oh, I've just filmed series 2 for this new upcoming show on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, you'll see me on The Crown next week, or
literally, like,
yeah.
I've not done any of those things.
No, me either.
I would love to be doing any of those things.
Wouldn't we? Yeah.
But I haven't. But there is a big part of our industry that I think people really, really do overlook because it's not like a pathway to fame. So I would describe my acting journey so far as I do and have done a lot of children's theatre.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're very similar in this sense. And a lot of panto.
Yeah.
I've played
you haven't.
Oh, yes, I have. And we're nearly at Christmas. Obviously,
I
not
know.
doing it this year, but yeah.
I'm not either. This is
There
the
we
first
go.
year in a while I've not done panto,
there we
so
go.
I'm in that with you.
There we
Yeah.
are. But yeah, overall, I've played a lot of big characters.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
A lot of character work.
Yes. All of that genre of performance. And I've done other bits and pieces as well. I would love hugely to move over into telly. We know how hard that is.
Yeah.
And obviously at the minute, because I'm on maternity leave, I've taken a bit of a step back, especially this year. Being pregnant for the majority of the year. There's limited what jobs I've been able to do.
We'll go on to that, but you did work for the majority
I did,
of it.
this is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's how I would describe it. And I think for example, my mum and dad, if people asked them what I did, they would say Emma's an actor, but she also teaches as well.
Nice.
Because I do.
Yeah. I think that's a nice way to say it, and then also not always get that immediate question of, well, what have you been in?
Oh yeah,
What will I have seen you in?
I hate that question so much.
Me too. I think a lot of us do. And I was actually talking to someone on the pod yesterday who I was recording with, and he's got credits, like quite, big credits, and because he's like, oh, I don't really mind that, and I'm like, because you've been in stuff, babe. You've been in stuff that people have seen, and I'm like, and honestly, amazing, well done you. But it's almost like if you had that thing to be like, I've been in this. Like if you were, I've been in this show. It kind of not shuts people up. I don't want to say it like that because people are interested, and we as human beings talk about our career. It's a very go-to when you've not met someone, you're trying to connect.
Yes,
it's that. But I think I've shared with you what I tend to reply to people now.
I think so, but you might have to remind me.
I turn it around a little bit, and I go in very innocently, like I've got an agenda, but they don't know that. And I say, oh well, it depends how much you go to the theatre. Like, are you a regular theatre goer?
Yeah.
Do you see stuff regionally outside of London? Like, yeah. Well, what was the last thing you saw? And that baffles a lot of people. They're like, oh well, I saw Lion King. Yeah, no, that's not my casting. I'm not in that. I think sometimes it makes people think and be like, oh, yeah, you've kind of told me you're mainly in theatre, and I actually don't go to the theatre that much. So that was probably a silly question because I probably won't have seen you in anything.
No, that's really valid. And I think so for people who aren't in the industry, I think there's a big stigma with, oh well, if you're not on telly, then I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Or if you've not done a feature film, what's the point?
If you've not got something recorded that can be rewatched
time and time again,
why bother?
Why bother? You might as well just give up.
I know.
Just give up.
On that note, we'll end the podcast there. To be like, we're saying just give up. No, never, ever, ever. We live and breathe. And I think if you do more theatre than film or TV, which we both do currently, there's a passion that drives that.
Yeah.
And there's a training that is involved. Like, you've got to look after your voice, you've got to look after your body, your stamina. Oh my goodness, the live performance world.
Yeah.
It's not like film and TV where you've got many takes.
No.
And you can stitch it together.
You've got your
and
one
you can have
shot,
a break.
don't you?
You've got your one shot wonder, and if you mess up, the world sees it.
That's it.
The world of the 2,000 people or whatever are in the theatre see it. But it's that thing, isn't it? And I think we should never diminish live performance of any kind.
We shouldn't diminish any type of performance, especially there's things like that I think about. So I graduated in 2013 and twins, and there's things that I did coming out of training job wise that at the time were perfect for me to go into, but I wouldn't choose to do them now. For example, like TIE stuff. I wouldn't choose to do that now.
I feel like I'm with you with that. Like, I've done my time.
Yeah, I've done all that. That was for younger me.
Yeah.
But also I feel people would put that sort of job down.
100%.
But I'm not putting it down by choosing not to do it.
It's just exhausting.
It's something I don't want to do.
For me, it's a young person game. I'm not saying
game.
we're old or in the early 30s, but like it's that I sometimes look back to when I was doing TIE in London. Sorry, in London because we're in London. And I would do 2 to 3 school shows a day. I would drive the van.
Yeah. Same.
Around central London.
Yeah, with the traffic.
Which is stressful in itself.
And you unload the van, you set everything up, you
Yeah.
take it all down, you're drenched in sweat.
I was always the character performer.
Yeah.
Because we're character
100%,
actors,
yes,
so you are the one that not pulls the weight, but you have the most changes, and and when you're changing character, you're changing the music.
Yes.
You're doing the next cue.
You are.
And then if you're the other person, you've got to keep the show going until the character's ready.
Yeah.
So both of you have got such a difficult job.
However many of you there might be. And also if you're driving the van, you don't get a break at all. Because you have to concentrate to drive to your next location.
And the amount of people that I worked with, and the ones I did when I did, we're talking about that job, it was a two-hander. They didn't drive.
Yes.
Because a lot of people in London don't.
No.
Which is absolutely fine. But because I do, and I'm a confident driver, or a lot of people drove, but they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because they didn't feel confident about driving.
And you got paid more as a driver, pittance, but I think you got like a tenner extra or something.
Woohoo!
And I'm like, oh my God. And
they kept that for something special.
I know. Well, normally a glass of wine afterwards, but because it's London, and I had to cycle to Hackney. I lived in Mile End. I cycled to Hackney, left my bike, got at 6 a.m. You know when you're like, I couldn't. I don't think I could do it.
No,
now.
This is not the job for me. But again. It's such hard work, and people really put those sort of jobs down. Not putting it down, it's just something I would not do now.
But oh my God, it taught me a lot.
Oh yeah,
it really did.
If you've just come out of training, or if you're listening to this and you've just come out of training, do all of those jobs, because you get so many hilarious anecdotes.
You meet amazing people.
You might meet some not so amazing people.
Yeah.
You might fall out with people. You might make best friends. You never know. But it is something I feel like every actor needs to do.
100%.
Just to have the experience of being able to say.
I don't know. I'm laughing because I'm like, I'm just thinking of when you said not such great people. The car journeys when you were with someone that was like as dry as the Sahara Desert.
No, and we don't mean dry in a humour way.
No, we mean
dry as in
dried up.
Yes, dried up.
All personality has been dried up.
Yeah.
Great actor, but nothing.
They've got nothing more to give.
No.
Yeah. Bless them.
Everything they give is a role.
Yeah, that's it.
And it would be like kind of like, we're quite similar. You'd be like trying to carry the conversation.
Always.
Or you'd be like, should we just put the radio on? Or like, should we find a podcast? Like, should we just, not talk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it. Absolutely. And also, you said like, I'm not completely done with TIE. So I did an R&D recently. I got paid to R&D a new TIE with my plethora of experience of doing it. It was actually really nice kind of being the expert in the room, being asked to create something.
Yeah.
And I've now...
That's different. Yeah.
I've now been commissioned to write the script for it.
Amazing.
From that. And I bet you that they'll be like, do you want to act in it? And that's where I'll probably might draw the line.
Politely decline.
Yeah. Like, depends how good my writing is and how much I want to perform it.
Yeah, true.
And what kind of vibe it is. It has to be the right setting for me. But this is only a 30-minute show.
Oh, so it's quite short and sweet, really.
And if you're just dipping in and out, so I'm a little bit like, never say never.
Okay.
The parameters have to be right, don't they?
You might be putting that t-shirt back on then. We'll have to wait and see. Pending.
I'll message you. It's just like a selfie of me like, she's
and I'll be
back.
Like, oh, there she is.
There she is, feeling very worn out by the end of the day. Drinking wine by the gallon as she gets home and stares at a blank wall.
As a solitary tear rolls down her face.
Can make a short film on that.
Oh,
there
God,
you go. You can film
That's
me.
it.
It could be your feature film.
That's it.
That's it. The life of a theatre and education.
That's it. Sorted.
So I really like that your family are like, she's an actor, but she also teaches. So teaching is a huge part of what you do.
Yeah.
Would you call yourself a vocal coach?
Yeah, well, in a nutshell, I always describe myself just as private singing teacher.
Yeah.
But I also teach comedy and drama, and I'm the vice principal at Pauline Quirke Academy in Richmond.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
And you worked that job right up till like you were ready to pop with Harry.
Yes,
didn't you?
Yes. So I worked all the way up till the end of July, and then I had my son on the 17th of August, and I was huge. But I do a lot of teaching. I do private singing lessons, so I've got my pool of students who are all just waiting for me to return.
They're like, please come back, Emma.
Yes, well, I hope so. And then my comedy and drama teaching at Pauline Quirke Academy. So I sent you a picture that you've seen of me backstage.
Yeah. So that'll be attached to this, absolutely.
So my I call them my kids because my kids, not my kids. They're my kids.
Yeah, they are. They're your students.
Yeah.
But students is such a sterile word.
Yeah,
That's
and I'm
nicer.
closer to them. You know, I know them all well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
my kids performed Shrek Junior, which I directed all of. I directed the whole thing pregnant, and then was there backstage on stool, 30 weeks pregnant, calling the show as well. So
you are a wonder. Like, honestly. And like, but that is the industry, isn't it? It's you don't stop until you need to.
Yes.
Because one, we can't afford to.
Correct.
Financially. And two, we don't want to.
No.
Like, we bloody love it, right?
Yeah.
And the buzz and that has you in a hold of doing that. And was it difficult for you when you were like, okay, I'm slowing down in one aspect of my life, I'm slowing down with work, I'm normally here, there and everywhere, like you said, many hats, you know, acting, directing, teaching, everything. But then I'm also ramping up in another side of my life because I'm looking after a tiny human.
Yes.
You know, you've got this whole like stopping but starting.
Yeah.
How was that?
It's
How's
like
it been?
a really... It's a very different scenario. So me and you, we know we're very similar. We have very, very similar work ethics.
Yeah.
We're very on-the-go driven people.
Yeah.
So I was going from doing a lot of work, and there were so many people who were saying to me, are you going to stop work now? Because you are quite heavily pregnant. And I got to a point where I could not have worked any longer.
No.
As we know, we won't go into it too much, but I wasn't that well.
No.
And I was very swollen, and it
just wasn't
ideal.
The environment, no.
So I'd gone from sort of going here, there and everywhere, work-wise, and having a massively packed diary and, you know, buzzing around all over the place, doing different jobs and sort of trying to bring in as much money as possible, to stopping and then having my baby, and then it's like my full-time job now is being Harry's mummy.
Yeah.
So that's my job, but it's
a good way to frame it as well, being like, this is my project now.
Yeah.
You know, we're very project to project. You're like, well, this is my show.
Yeah.
This is...
I feel like my old life, or not old life, but like prior to Harry, my scheduling is just different, and I'm focusing on something different until I can start phasing my other jobs back in, and I can
that needs
blend.
to fit
this
new chapter. Not new life, but new chapter.
New chapter. That's a good way to describe it.
It's just like the next section of your story.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I think I know you've built such a strong network of jobs and of companies, and you know, you've got, again, that such good work ethic. People know, and the quality of what you do as well. Like, people know that they can trust you.
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
They do. They do.
Thanks, babe.
And they know that you're a professional, you care, and you're bloody good at what you do.
Thank you.
Like, you've got the talent, but you've got the drive as well. So
Thank
it's like,
you.
and I think in this industry, that's important.
Yeah. I think as well, with the whole because I'm 100% self-employed. Yeah. I do not have any PAYE jobs. Everything I do is off my own back. So I have created a massive hub of things, whether that is having contacts in the acting world, or if that's like any resting jobs like my teaching and everything else that I do. But because of being self-employed and now being on maternity, the maternity allowance situation financially is really bloody difficult.
It's dire.
It's so bad.
It's horrific. Like, there's not actually, there's no other word for it. It's
No.
not okay.
No, it's not. And did you hear recently, I don't know what her name is, but that new Tory woman had made a comment about how people on maternity get too much money?
I was literally like,
Sorry,
where are we looking for these stats?
Does she have children?
Does she understand
Probably
life?
not. No, she doesn't understand life. But that's difficult because also for someone self-employed, if you are about to have a baby and obviously you're going on to your maternity, you have to apply for maternity allowance. If you didn't apply for it, you get nothing.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know about the application. You've got to apply to have a baby, basically.
You have to apply to get money
to have a baby.
Yeah. So
that is wild.
Yeah, it is wild. And they base it off how many Class 2 national insurance contributions you have made. Yeah, it's wild. So the minimal amount that you could receive after applying, hold on to your hat.
Oh my God, I don't know if I want to know.
This is per week. The minimal amount you could get is £27 a week.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
How awful is that?
That's
it's
laughable.
Who has made that decision for anybody? Luckily, I don't receive £27 a week, but still,
thank God,
the maximum amount that you can receive is still not really enough.
No. I honestly, I've spoken to so many friends and so many colleagues within the industry that are exactly the same. Yeah. That it's like, just because I've had a baby, doesn't mean that I don't want to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't need the money to do stuff. Obviously, I'm paying to look after this human being. It's an extra expense within my world.
Yeah.
But also, we need to go out and socialise and not do everything for free.
Yeah.
Because you are still a human who needs activities and things in life.
And not just for you, but for your baby as well.
Exactly, for the family.
And for your mental well-being, you've got to be able to do things, but you've still got to be paying for things in the background. You know, like, it doesn't mean you don't have to pay your mortgage, you don't have to pay your bills.
And that's what I mean. Exactly. And it shouldn't just be able to just cover that.
No.
Because you've got everything else in life that you deserve, that you've worked hard for, and you've contributed to the tax system for your whole life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a joke. We could talk about
that. We actually could. But
it is
what a revelation, because it's good to talk about it though. Yeah. It's good to talk about that, and like, thank you for being so open about, you know, recently having a child within the industry. For that as well. And I do want to talk about one of your jobs that I see over kind of snippets of it on social media. I've never seen you perform with them, but I really want to. So when you're back, and let me know when you're gonna next perform. The West End Gospel Choir. It just looks amazing. Like, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so West End Gospel Choir has been going for many years now, and our choir leader is the insanely talented, because he is another level, Nathaniel Morrison.
What a beautiful name.
He is a gem of a human being, and he's just an amazing man. He's a really inspirational person in general, and he has set the choir up, and obviously the choir has been going for, I don't want to say it wrong in case he listens to this at any point.
A long time.
And then it's been going for a long time.
We'll keep it at that. A long time.
But it's obviously gone through various different choir members and things, and we are a professional choir, and we get booked to do various different types of gigs, or we might perform at charity concerts or whatever. But it's amazing, and it's such a lovely community of people, and it's a mixture of people who are quite religious and people who are not religious. So for me personally, I'm not a religious person, and then there's other people in the choir who are quite heavily religious, and
that's where the gospel comes in.
And you know, all of that. But everybody in that choir is just such a humble and lovely human being, and everyone is always there to back each other, and it's a really it's a beautiful environment to be in.
It just looks, I don't know, it looks like such a beautiful community. And also, like, I think choirs get a bad rep sometimes.
Yeah,
Correct me if you think I'm wrong there.
No.
I think sometimes people are like, oh, choir. This is like not just a choir. I feel like there's something different about the West End gospel. I just you know, the solos, the harmonies, the things that I can just hear through the screen that I can't even imagine being there.
In the room, when obviously I've not been to rehearse with them for quite a while, because of obviously having Harry and what have you. But in the room, when we rehearse things and we nail it, it's unreal. Like the blend of people's voices together, and everyone is so insanely talented in the choir, and especially, like I said, with
I think that's what it is as well.
Leading us all.
It's the voices. Like everyone that is in that is a professional singer.
Yeah.
Like, so you've got that talent.
Yeah, and everyone together just sounds incredible. Yeah. Like we actually performed at Buckingham Palace.
Oh, I know. I was waiting for this.
King Charles.
That's what you need to say to people when they say, "Where would I have seen you?"
Well, if you've been in Buckingham Palace, you might have seen
just drop it, and then they'll be like, "What? Tell me more." And then you can just go on a little, you know, I sung for the King.
Yeah, it was a really surreal, brilliant memory and experience. So we were very lucky.
It's just also, again, not always luck, talent drives through, and I think we're very quick in this industry. Be like, oh, I'm so like lucky to have this, and I think absolutely be grateful for what you've got and like remember that. Yeah. But at the same time, never forget that you trained. Yeah. You continue to train. The talent's there as well, and I think we're always like, I say it, so I'm kind of telling myself as well. I'm like, I'm so lucky to have that opportunity. And I'm like, no, Becca, you worked your bloody arse off. Yeah. Like, that's the other reason why you got that opportunity. And you've been in the industry over 10 years now, so you've got that experience. Yeah. And it's got you there.
You deserve it.
You deserve it. Although I did have someone on the podcast. I had Yvonne Maxwell. She's an actor, and she used booked and blessed, which I quite like.
So many people use that term.
I was like,
now,
that's quite. I hadn't heard. I think I'd seen it on social media as like a hashtag, which I didn't love. Gave me a bit of an ick. But when it was
but out loud,
I loved it. Yeah. So it's one of those like I was like booked and blessed. I was like, I like that.
Only out loud, not in text.
No.
You can't see it visually.
I can't. I have a bit of a thing about. No, we won't go on to that. But I have a bit of a thing about people's social media content, about how things are described sometimes. Okay. You know, it's just my own thing. It's my own thing, not a diss to anyone. No, but myself. I just get an ick about how words are framed. I don't know why. Anyway, I've completely gone off topic there. Now you again. I keep saying you said it as well. We're very similar.
But we are. Though.
I know.
We really are.
We are. Within kind of work, within our life, you know, it's a miracle we get on. Because sometimes if you're too alike,
clash. We don't clash.
We don't, which I love. Thank God. I wouldn't be here if we did. No,
I wouldn't have let you in.
Oh no, not her again.
Bloody hell. She's back.
Shut the curtains. She's found out where we live.
Turn the lights off. No one's in.
Me with all my equipment, like, let me in. Anyway, so we've both worked with an immersive performance. Yes. The immersive world, which can be challenging.
Yes.
At times. I'm not gonna name any places that we've done this in, but you have worked for a large scale immersive attraction. Yeah. Let's say. How was that?
Hard.
Yeah. In a nutshell.
Mentally hard. Very mentally hard. Yeah. And physically hard.
And are we talking like you're there for like an 8-hour day performing?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're playing various characters. Yeah. And sometimes you're on one character for a very long time without a break. And if it's like peak season of guests coming in or audience members being there,
you feel like you're broken. You're like stuck on the peak.
You might die physically and mentally, yes. But the one positive thing about working at that large scale attraction,
attraction,
we won't mention the name of. I mean, some people might know anyway.
Yeah, it's in London.
I did meet my husband there.
I know.
That was the perk.
So that is like yeah, everything was worth it.
Yes.
Because otherwise you and Bob wouldn't have met. So
Exactly.
I feel like, yeah, every cloud. But
Yes.
again, it's that. So I'm currently in an immersive show.
Yes, you are.
And it's similar in the fact of it's 7 hours. And it's constant. And your characters, different characters. Sometimes I'm wearing a costume and I'm talking as a different character. I'm like, oh, that's not the character, because I've done such a quick change, or I've been there it's got to the 6th hour or whatever, and I'm like, I'm losing my faculties. Like I don't know where I am.
Questioning who you are, what you are, what's going on.
Yeah,
where am I?
And I think those, I think that they're hard, but and when they're good, they're good. When you get a good audience, it's great. And when you get people interacting and you make people laugh, you make people smile, and that engagement I really love. I love improvisation as well. So the improvisation around it.
Improv is one of my favourite things, and I always do this with my kids that I teach. Whenever we get to a period of time where we don't have a show to rehearse for, I'm always like, guys, you know what we're going to be doing. Improv.
Yeah.
I love improv. I think it's just such a skill. It's a skill.
It is.
Because you can be absolutely shit at improv, or you can be incredible. Or you can be in between. But improv
but it will make any job you do harder that needs improv.
It's a skill, isn't it?
It's such a skill. Yeah. And it is a skill you can learn and train in. And I don't know about you, but like when I'm facilitating and like when you're teaching, I love doing improv exercises and getting involved as well to show them that it's not scary. Like I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. And it's also like I'm kind of retraining myself. I'm keeping myself, fresh. Not just facilitating the ideas, but also bringing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in now. And everyone's like, oh, okay. Yeah. She's going in. And sometimes it can fall flat on its face, and sometimes it really works. And again, that's the beauty of improv. So that's one thing I really do like about immersive.
Yeah, but you don't know what's going to happen.
You really don't know what's going to happen. And then on the flip side, if you get like we've all had audiences that don't want to be interacted with, and you're like, why have you come here?
Yeah. Can I tell you a horrible story?
Yes, please.
About said large-scale immersive attraction in London that I used to work at. So this is awful. You might know this already, but for the benefit of anyone listening, I feel like this needs to be a story shared.
Okay.
This is you should feel shocked and appalled by this.
Oh God! This isn't like a bad. It's not going to make me laugh. It's actually going to make me laugh.
I think knowing you, this will make you seethe with anger.
Oh God! Here we go.
So,
get me angry for my drive home on the M25. Great.
One day, I was working there, and I was a particular character, and this character greets everyone and says their name.
Yeah.
And so I'm in character, and I say
hi,
my character's name, and a grown man who was sort of towards the back of the space piped up in response to me saying, hello, I'm character name. And he said, put weight on, haven't you?
Sorry. Did I actually hear that right? He said, you've put weight on, haven't you?
Yes. Now, let's just think about this. So
that is disgusting.
This man was with a child.
Oh, no.
I actually heard audible gasps from other people in the room as everyone turned awkwardly to look at who had made the comment. Now, luckily, I'm one of these types of people who that sort of comment's not going to affect me, because I'm confident in my own skin, and
you don't let the haters get you down.
No.
Yeah.
Now, am I particularly overweight? No. I'm just an average size woman.
That shouldn't even matter.
No, that should not matter at all. There was no reasoning for him to say this. Does he know me? No. Did he know what I have going on in my personal life and whether that would deeply affect me?
Which it absolutely could have triggered someone.
It could have triggered anybody.
Yeah.
Now, I was in that predicament where I thought to myself, because I looked at the man and I thought, I've got two options here. I either ignore his comment and carry on, or I say something back, and I really had to bite my tongue.
Such in the moment as well. That's such a hard call.
I had to bite my tongue because I thought,
professional.
There's children here. you know, just act like you haven't heard it. And when I tell you, this group left my character's room and I went out backstage and just pre-warned other cast members that there was an inappropriate man.
That might say something.
The level of rage from everybody else was paramount. Like, you don't make comments about anything to do with that.
No.
People's weight. You shouldn't make comments on the way anybody looks.
Especially when they're, not especially, but in this situation where you're playing a character as well. You know, you're like, this isn't me.
Yeah.
This is a character.
Yeah.
So any opinion you have also kind of isn't real in a way.
Yeah.
So why on earth are you trying to break that fourth wall with that negative behaviour?
Yeah.
Like it's and that makes me so sad as well that the kid.
Yeah.
Like it's learned behaviour.
Their role model. But also, I was sort of glad that if he was going to say it to anybody, I would rather he'd said it to me that day, opposed to he could have said it to somebody else who it might have really, really mentally affected.
You are exactly like me in that, and I've spoken about this a lot recently, actually, where we're quite, I don't know what's the word, just, aren't we? And we're, as people, we're very much like annoyed for the fact that could have really hurt someone else.
Yes.
But I do think it happened to you.
Yeah.
So also know that was not okay.
Oh,
like, do you know what I mean? But I'm exactly the same as you. I'm like, well, luckily for me, I've got a thick skin and that didn't affect me. But oh my gosh, if that was someone straight out of drama school, or if that was me 10 years ago, actually it probably would have affected me, you know? So, and I always think, I would have done exactly what you did. Go out back, tell everyone, radio everyone and be like,
watch out.
Watch out. Did the venue do anything?
No. I did report it as well.
I know, I would absolutely think you would have,
And actually, should I say this? No, I've said it, so I'm going to have to carry on. There was somebody who was in
We've not mentioned said venue.
No, someone who was in management was in my space when it happened.
Witnessed it?
Yes, but claimed didn't hear it.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was a
You have visibly seized me.
Yeah.
Don't think that's the right sentence, but you know,
yeah.
That is, and I feel like we need to shake that off. That is awful.
Yeah.
And horrible, and I want to counteract that.
Yes, go on.
With, what's the weirdest job you've ever done?
I knew this was coming. Right. This will always, you will never in a million years, after I tell you what this is, think that this is what I was going to say.
Because I was going to say, I don't know.
No.
Okay, I'm excited.
So, think way back to when you're quite early in your career, and obviously for me graduating in 2013, it's quite a long time ago, and you know when everyone was like, oh, we'll sign up to Star Now. Remember when that was a thing?
Yeah.
Star Now.
Yeah.
And
the latest thing.
'cause it was free.
Oh god,
and you would just jump onto any old shit at that point. So I got this random message on Star Now from, this is going to sound really dodgy.
I'm ready for it.
It's not going quite down the dodgy route that people might think. So this man messages me on Star Now, and he basically, in a nutshell, asked me if I would read something out that he had written for his girlfriend because he was going to propose to her.
Oh my god, it's like cameo vibes.
Right, but it was in person that I would be doing this.
Sorry, as you?
As myself. Honestly.
And at this point, you're not known.
Well, no, I'm not
You've just
known.
come out of, you're not a name.
I'm just a random actor. And he paid me to do this, but this is what... Honestly,
so you did it?
I did this, yeah. But when I tell you this,
okay.
It was the most uncomfortable and strangest experience probably of my life.
It sounds it.
But no, it's going to get worse.
Oh,
so
no.
He told me where to meet him, and it was just like a random street in London. And I basically had to accost his girlfriend as she was walking down the street.
That's like ambush her.
Literally.
Was she terrified?
She literally had the fear of God in her eyes. She didn't know what was coming.
She's literally I don't think I'm getting proposed to. I think I'm going to die here.
Yeah, this mad woman has leapt out at me in the street. So literally had to accost her, and then I had this piece of paper where I had to read out what this guy wanted to say, and it's actually just hysterical. I can't tell you what was on the paper because I don't remember. But
I love that you didn't have to learn it though.
No.
Paid gig with no learning.
Yeah, and so I read this out to her in the street. She looked alarmed, perplexed, and frightened.
All of the emotions.
And then he leapt out from somewhere. I don't know where he was. He leapt out somewhere. And he like bunged me 50 quid. And then I just scarpered away.
Just left?
Just left.
Oh.
And he proposed to her, and I never knew the outcome of the proposal. But I mean, if they are married now to this day, and anyone ever asks, how did he propose to you? I hope she remembers the random woman that had to.
Well, I got Emma Bostock to jump out. And
Honest to God, weirdest thing ever. And looking back, I'm like, why did I do that?
Did anyone know where you were?
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes.
But also, like, well, you were on the street as well, so it was a public setting.
Yeah, but is that the weirdest thing you've ever heard?
A little bit.
It's weird, isn't it? And I don't
know what possessed him.
No, literally what compelled him to think that was a good idea, and why did I do it? Oh, well, I know why I did it, because
Money.
I was young and he was going to bung me 50 quid.
Yeah.
Again.
You were like, great, I'm going to go on a night out now.
He genuinely slipped me 50 quid like we were doing some sort of illegal, like, drug deal in a back alley.
If the police saw it, it's a proposal. It's not drugs. They'd be like, okay, we're arresting you. Like, we don't believe you.
It was just the weirdest thing in the world.
That is so weird. Okay, and it reminds me of I'm gonna add a story of mine onto this because you've triggered something in me. You've done this. Like I don't normally talk this much, Emma. I had a similar kind of thing. So I like to call myself a bit of a part-time princess.
Yes,
as you know.
You are.
So I've done children's entertainment for a long time, and it kind of keeps my improvisation, my character skills fresh when I'm in between like big projects.
Absolutely.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy giving people joy. I was quite new into it. I hadn't been doing it for that long at this point. And a similar thing, I do it for a company, so I didn't get said random man message me, then he messaged the company. Yeah. And I just get the bookings just like come into this system. Yeah. So I got it and I read it and I was like, hang on. So this is, it's not a party, it's an appearance. Love me an appearance because it's half an hour.
It's over, done.
Oh, it's half an hour. Pictures, have a chat,
then you
sing a song, bugger off. You get paid really well.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, an appearance. I think it was my first appearance. I was like, oh,
great.
Yes, jammy. Like more of these, please. And when I read it, I was like, where's the child? Where's the child in this? Turns out there wasn't a child, so I have to like message and call the bookings to be like, you know, like, what do you want me to do? Where's it going? He answered the phone, and it was for his wife. So it's for his wife's birthday.
Right.
And he wanted me to be Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that's a massive ball gown. I'm talking hoop, you know, wig, like there's a lot to it. And he was like, yeah, so it's just at my house. So you're just going to come and knock on the door and I'll get my wife to open and it'll be a surprise. And you're basically going to come in for like a tea party.
How old is this wife? Was she...
It was for her...
normal age?
It was for her... I think it was for her either her 30th or her 40th birthday.
Still quite random.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, right, so, like, you don't want me to just come, have a photo, sing happy birthday, and go.
Yeah.
Because technically, for the appearances, they're allowed up to half an hour.
Right.
So he was like, no, like, I want you to, like, in character, like, hang out with me and my wife.
Just him and
just him and his wife. So again, I was a little bit like, what possessed me to say yes? I was young, I was new in the industry, and I was new into the entertainment world.
Also, this gives me like some sort of like maybe they were hopeful you would engage in some sort of threesome with them.
There we go. There we go. I was so naive and innocent. I'm not naive and innocent. You know I'm not. But I didn't really think about that until I was there.
Oh, God.
And when I was there, I was like,
what is this?
Oh, fuck. Like, oh, my God.
Get me out.
Yeah, but it was very innocent. It was weird.
Yeah,
I did sing Happy Birthday and one of Belle's songs to her.
Right.
Actually, I think I sang Beauty and the Beast, like both parts.
And were you just stood in their living room?
I was
and they were
sat
just looking at you?
on the floor. They had like a little table, like your table here.
Yeah.
And we were sat there, and there was like tea and biscuits, and I did glitter tattoos for her and her husband.
Oh god.
And no, it wasn't biscuits, or it was cake. Like, I bought the birthday cake out. We ate the birthday cake. We had photos, and then I left, and I got back in the car, still like in my costume, just like.
And then did you question everything in your life that you've done that led up to that moment?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because actually, that could have been a weird dream, but it was actually.
I forgot I did it until you triggered. I think I buried it, Emma, and thank you for bringing that back.
Unlocking it and bringing it to the forefront of your
But
mind.
what confidence to have! I stayed in character the whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
well done you.
The voice, everything. You know, like I think I had to.
Yeah.
I could not break that fourth wall, otherwise I think I would have just melted. I think I'd have bolted. I'd have wiped that dress up and.
The irony is, you left and just got into
my
generic
Corsa.
car and drove away
In my costume. I think I still had the gloves on. I kept everything on because I was in a bit of a daze.
as you
Driving back down the motorway.
wrangled the hoop into the car.
It was like on me. Yeah.
Oh no.
I was like, you know, when you see celebrities like going to the Oscars and they're like trying to not crease their dress,
God.
sitting like that. I was just, it was. That was
something
weird.
else. Yeah, really weird.
And that's gonna bring me to the end of our chat today. on that note. So in a nutshell, we've both done some weird and wonderful stuff in our careers.
I would say so.
And do you have anything you want to like shout about at the moment?
Oh god.
Or anything that you're like, go see this, or anything you're working on apart from your baby? Because shout about your baby.
I'm literally just working on being a mum at the minute.
And that's amazing, so please
But
shout about that.
Actually, if there are any casting directors listening to this who would love to have, I'm going to use the word young because I feel like I look younger than I am.
You do?
I
I do as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Right answer.
Would any casting directors, if you're in need of any young mothers and baby,
Who
me
is
and Harry,
gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Me and Harry are fully available.
Here we go.
Yep.
I love that.
We're so available.
Oh my God.
Get us on those nappy adverts.
There you go.
You know,
TV debut.
that's what we want to do.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we're putting it out there to the universe.
Manifest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no weird requests or situations.
Yeah,
please.
don't get me to propose to your girlfriend
Nope.
in Acosta in the street.
No.
This was years ago.
She's over that. She won't do that. She won't do that. Please go through her agent.
Yes, the memory haunts me to this day. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Emma, for being such a joy
Oh, Becca,
to just
you're
chat with.
welcome.
I feel like we've got so much more to talk about,
Oh, yeah.
so I feel like I'm going to have to get you back on.
If we need a part 2, we can do a part 2.
I feel like there's going to be a time that comes. It's just so lovely to chat.
Yes.
Thank you for being part of the arts,
Thank you.
being amazing, and yeah, see you soon.
Thanks, Becca.
Bye.